Hello! Welcome to Levels Plus Whenever, episode 107. I'm filming it in a weird place. I've got this ugly AC unit that I've covered up with a not very attractive curtain that I need to get something a little bit nicer to be in that space. Since I moved all the stuff around in the house, that's been a problem. It was blocked by this shelf right here. I'll point at it since that shelf, since it's hard to make that out. But when I moved the shelf to accommodate the game consoles being somewhat close, that's what happened, is nasty wall space that I need to do something with. So that'll be something I work on probably over the month, since this will probably be the last one for a little while. I'm still working hard on Femtendo 1987. We'll do a little preview today since I've made some good progress on it. But I went over what I've done for the site anniversary because, hey, we're 23 years old. Started in 2001, 2024. Absolutely wild. I'm not going to get into site history. I did that last year. So this year instead, I think that we'll talk about the book a little bit. There's also a publication history that's important for me that's happening today as well, so I'll probably touch on that a little bit. And then I've got a little bonus fun activity where we're going to rank the Mega Man NES Robot Master themes. That's something I thought of a couple months ago and just been waiting for the right opportunity, and hey, celebrating the site is a great time to do that. So, with that being said, let's go to the books. Let's do something with the books. Let's get into the pickups. There's a couple. It took a long time because I ordered this in December, but I finally got my physical Baldur's Gate 3, which has the game still in the plastic. I haven't taken it out yet, but it came with a bunch of goodies as well. So it has the full soundtrack. It came with some patches that currently mean nothing to me. Several sticker sheets. What looks like a map. I don't even know if I have this right side up or right side down, but and then absolutely ginormous poster. That's going to be too big for me to fit it on camera, but there you go. Quite a struggle to get a hold of this. I had to argue with FedEx. And then I also got the Jury pop-up parade figure to go with my Kimberly and Luke, and I also have Chun-Li on the way. That ended up in Oregon for a little while. It was just fun. A fun weekend of things not showing up. But thankfully they all arrived today. Alright, welcome to our Femtendo 87 preview. Here's the exciting news. I have written 136 pages of material because this is where I currently need to continue going from with Chesterfield. So that's really exciting that we're making some headway. The unfortunate thing is if I zoom up here, you'll see that there's 368 pages in this book. By the way, the title page are now accurate with correct page numbers and better images. So this is all locked in. The Zelda essay is locked in. Thanks, Echoes of Wisdom, for messing with me. I had to quickly modify this section, but not give it an entire page. It's going to be something that's the nature of how this is going to work. I also had to change a font because there was a permissions issue with putting it into a PDF format. So this font changed. I like the one that was there before more, but this one at least is not giving me problems. I love the pictures that I took for this. I'll probably be posting those on the visuals blog around publication time. But the biggest change probably is down in the minor characters, and we'll just sit here. New picture. I got, since I got a new Rob amiibo, I was able to take a new one that relates to the games actually in this issue. But the big change is that as I was thinking about this section, it was giving me some slight anxiety, to put it mildly, because of how many secondary characters there are. There's also like so many shopkeeps and it's and like random NPCs that it's just difficult to even wrap my head around it when we get into Japanese role-playing games beyond this year, because this year was already excessive. So I took out all the text. The text being gone is a bit of a bummer, but it was, like I said, literally giving me anxiety thinking about how to do that. I know of at least a character that has come to light since I set this page up, but I don't want to change the format because it's a slower process now. When you have 4 per page versus 2, it's not as easy to add stuff because now there's another section on the same page. So I'm going to move that one to the errata 1988, and anything else that pops up is just going to go in that, and we'll catch them there. But this book is coming along. This section's all done too, so it's really just writing all of this up to Chesterfield here. I'm also going through and checking links to make sure that they're still accurate, which is also slow. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at with Femtendo 87. It's in a really good place. I'm really excited about it. So there's another anniversary that has happened on August 6th, and that is my very first book. Maya Moments came out on August 6th, 2020. And I still have a lot of pride in this book, a lot of pride in this cover. I've definitely come a long way in terms of my digital art since 2020, but this was the piece that really pushed me into challenging myself more and more to do more stuff with shading, with texture, with trying to figure out ways to color stuff better, lighting, the fire effect, which I still think is one of the best fires I've ever done. I don't know if I've honestly done better than that. These stories continue to be really precious to me. We'll go ahead and boot up this first page of Lady Blood's Trick. Some of the best work I did when I was in college. I love these stories. They're still, I think, really good reads. Someday I would like to return to this world of the ancient Maya. Probably continue something with Lady Blood or with Ix Ukab Akok. I am not a Mayan speaker, so I'm doing my best from memory how to pronounce things, which is probably wrong. But this was just such a fun project. And my art's come a long way since 2013. My art's come a long way since 2020. It is up on Amazon. It's currently $17.92. I've changed it to be UK settings temporarily because I don't need to have my information broadcast. But it's got 3 5-star ratings. It's got a nice review, which I greatly appreciate people reviewing the book. It's probably my second best-selling book outside of the George Macy imagery one that came out last year. All right, welcome to the main event. A ranking of the NES Robot Master themes from the Mega Man series. Now, I'm specifically doing NES only because I just don't have the familiarity with the later games in the series. I don't really like 7, 8, or 9 mechanically for different reasons. And I've never played 10. And I'm going to play 11 this holiday season for a forum thing. So I just decided to stick it out with the 6 NES games. This particular tier maker was very convenient because it had the Robot Masters for the first 6 games, but you'll notice that there's an exempt row where Mega Man, Proto Man, Roll, as well as Time Man and Oil Man are chilling out because they were just here, but they don't need to be a part of this playlist. Down here, we've got all of the Robot Master images that were taken from the PS1 Complete Works re-releases, which is some of my favorite Mega Man art in general, to be completely honest with you, so I'm pretty happy that they went with those. And what we're going to do is, I think what I want to do is pick one track from all 6 games that stands as the best of the best for that game. And that's what the S rank at the top is going to be. A will then be tracks that I personally think are excellent. And we'll just, we'll kind of scale it down from there. So to begin with Mega Man 1, what is the best track from the original game by Minami Matsume? I think it's Elect Man. So we have our first S. I think Elect Man's theme just has a really good pace, a really good vibe. Let's go ahead and pull it up so we can hear a little bit of it. And just, I think, captures the future of what a Mega Man track really should sound like. That's not to put any slight against the other 5. I just think that Elect Man is the standard that other composers look to moving forward. For Mega Man 2, this one's easy. It's Airman. I fell in love with Airman's track thanks to the mini-boss's cover of it. And then when I really sat down to listen to Takashi Tateishi work in the original game, I was just like, whoa, this is like really pushing things in a really dynamic and cool way. I love that. So Airman is my Mega Man 2 choice. For Mega Man 3, it's a tough call between 2 for me, but ultimately it's Snake Man that wins. It's real close between Snake Man and Shadow Man. These tracks from Mega Man 3 are easily my favorite. I can't probably put any of them below B, and it's going to be hard for me to even do that because I just absolutely adore them all. But Snake Man, I think, just the drum beat and the way that it just starts out so strong. Always caught my attention. I still faintly remember the very first time I played Mega Man 3 and played Snake Man Stage and was just blown away by the music. Just absolutely phenomenal. For Mega Man 4, this is another one that is a bit of a tough call because there's two that I really like out of the 8 that Mine Fuji and Yasuaki Fujita did, and I forgot to say the composers' names for Mega Man 3, but most of them are Yusaaki Fujita, and Gemini and Needleman are Harumi Fujita. It's hard for me to say which one of Skullman versus Pharaoh Man that I prefer, but I think it's kind of the same deal with Skullman as it is with Snake Man. I really just like the way it starts. So Skullman's going to get the edge. But it's a pretty close call for me. It's a pretty close one. Forgetting that I'm doing music in it, let's listen to it a little bit more. 4 is the one that I have probably played the least. For whatever reason. And it's the one that I like the least. It's still a great game. It's just, it doesn't feel as complete, as fun, for whatever reason. I'm still trying to figure that out myself. But with Mega Man 5, might surprise you that I'm going with Wave Man, probably the most melancholy Mega Man Robot Master track of the original 6 games. It's just got such a vibe that I think really stands out. Mari Yamaguchi, I think her soundtrack is underrated. I don't think it's appreciated as much as it should be. And Wave Man's a really good, just like, standout in a game full of really good tracks on the whole. Because it's just got such a different speed, tempo, melody vibe to it that I really appreciate. Mega Man 6 goes to Flame Man. And again, it's got such a great intro. Yuko Takehara did so many great songs for Capcom over her tenure there. And I just think that Flame Man is one of her absolute bangers. Just captures the Robot Master's essence, since they're more about world and culture in Mega Man 6 than the other games. Just those beats hit my ears so well. So, those are the 6 best tracks per game. But now we've got to figure out where the rest of them are going to go. I've renamed the tiers to Japanese Rockman names. So our top 6 are now the rocking tier. And then we have Forte Stick, because bass's name in Japan is Forte. Roll with it, as in I'm fine with those. And then these songs give me the blues. There's probably not going to be too many of those, to be completely honest with you. And I think I might even want to just go through and determine the 6 least tracks that... I think that's going to probably be what I do, because it's going to be hard for me to actually pick bad Mega Man music, because there isn't a lot. Especially with the Robot Master themes. They're very, very strong. So what I think I'm going to do instead is I'm going to pick the 6 that I like the least. Kind of like the same with the 6 I like the best. And that way, at least each game has something there. And then the other 2 rows, I think, will be easier to sort out. So for Mega Man 1, I think the one that I think is the least compelling to me is Bomb Man. I don't know why, I just feel like it doesn't really have oomph like the other tracks from the original game do. It just feels like it's there. And I could do a lot better than it's just there. For Mega Man 2, it's gonna be Crash Man. I don't really like the instrumentation on this particular track. I don't, it's a little bit too shrill, I think, for me, ultimately. So that one's going to be my low point for that game. 3 is tough, because I love all of the Mega Man tracks or all the Robot Master tracks in Mega Man 3. But if I were to pick one that's probably my least favorite, it would be Hardman's theme. It's a good track, but I feel like it is less impactful. It's the one I don't remember when I think about Mega Man 3 music. For Mega Man 4, it's probably Ring Man. Every time I hear Ring Man's theme, I don't connect it as Mega Man music. I don't know why. It might be because that's my least favorite stage in the entire game, because it is basically mini-boss the stage. But I just don't really care for Ring Man's theme. It might be my least favorite track in the entire series, to be honest. For 5, another tricky one for me. But if I were to pick one to represent my least favorite, it's probably Starman. And I think Starman has a good theme, but it has parts of the instrumentation that I don't care for as much. Trying to capture that essence of space and noises, just not my favorite thing. For Mega Man 6, it's probably... I think it's Blizzard Man. Because when I think about Mega Man 6, so many of the tracks tie into cultural elements, and Blizzard Man doesn't really have one. I don't even remember what country Blizzard Man is representing. Like, I could remember most of the other ones, but for whatever reason, this one just doesn't really stand out in a game that I think has a really good soundtrack. So, I think those will be my bottom 6. Let's go ahead and start with Mega Man 1. There's 2 that I think would fall into the fortistic. It's gonna throw me every time I look at it. That's Iceman and Cutman. I think both of those tracks are really quite good. And again, much like Electman, helped set the standard for the series. Fireman is good, but I feel like a little bit of the instrumentation is a little brash, which, you know, early NES composition has that as a pretty frequent occurrence, but the beat and the melody and all that's really good, so that's why it's above Bomb Man. And Gutsman, it was a toss-up between Bomb Man and Gutsman for my least favorite. Gutsman just gets lost to me. I distinctly know that Bomb Man's a theme that I don't care for that much. Gutsman I just forget about, and it's kind of the same deal with like Hard Man, but there was something that I could pick as something I didn't like as much. Alright, for Mega Man 2, boy, it is tricky trying to narrow down Mega Man 2. But I know, and I think what I'm going to keep doing is doing its splits. So I'm going to pick 3 and 3, moving through the rest. So I'm going to say that Bubble Man, Flash Man, and Woodman are my great tracks. I think all of these do a fantastic job of setting the mood for those stages. Woodman is a very close contender for my number 1, because of the percussion in it is so good. I think Bubble Man has a really good vibe, and Flash Man just is a pulsing track that I really like. Quick Man has a little bit of harsh instrumentation. Metal Man's is good, but not quite as good as the others. And Heat Man has a really good, like, bass sound to it. But I feel like it needed a little bit more to really stand out to me, melody-wise. Now it's going to be time to really hurt myself. I know that Shadow Man is here, because it's real close between Snake Man and Shadow Man. I think I'm going to give it to Needle Man and Spark Man as my other two that are great. Shadow Man has a fantastic melody all the way through, and it's so hard to pick it in comparison to Snake Man because those two are so good. Needle Man and Spark Man are also really great compositions. I really think that they stand out really tall. Magnet Man is kind of tied there with Hard Man in terms of my least favorite track from the Robot Masters. Top Man is kind of also in that space, but I like his more. And the Gemini Man I really like, but in comparison to the other three, it's a little meandering. All right, well, we know Pharaoh Man's up here because I already talked about him. The other two I'm going to pick for the better parts of 4. And this is hard because, again, I'm not that strongly opinionated on 4. It's probably Dive Man. That track keeps catching me off guard because Dive Man's probably my least favorite Robot Master in 4. In terms of design. But the track's really good. I think Bright Man's got kind of a cool theme as well that kind of captures the essence of electricity pretty well. Toad Man's close. It's got a nice melody to it, but it's not one that leaps to mind. Drill Man is one I really don't think about. It was tough between Drill and Ring, honestly. And Dustman's got a good set of instrumentation, just not as good as the other three. Mega Man 5. Charge Man, for sure. I think Charge Man is in the running for the best track in Mega Man 5. It's just got a great beat, a great sound to it that's different than a lot of the other tracks. It just makes you want to go through the stage. I really like it. Gyro Man is another favorite. Again, this is just kind of an upbeat song. A little bit different than the usual Mega Man vibe, but I love it for that. And then out of these other 3, or 4 down here, I'm going to go with Crystal Man because, again, this song just has a melancholy edge that I really like. Much like Wave Man. But Crystal Man stage, the melancholy really fits it because it is, to me, one of the hardest stages in the entire NES lineup to get through. Gravity Man is good. I like his a lot, but it's not as good as these 3. It's kind of the same deal with Stone Man and with Napalm Man. Great tracks. Napalm Man is probably a contender to be up here out of these 3. But they're just not, for me, they don't stick in my ear as much as these 3 do. Alright, Mega Man 6, and I kind of have a sense of what they are, which is Centaur Man, Plant Man, and I think Night Man. So we'll go ahead and just put everybody else here. We finally cross down into this section. I'll zoom out a bit so that way that's not a problem. So Centaur Man and Night Man, I think, really do a great job of capturing the culture that they're from. And if I remember right, Plant Man's like South American. And again, like the instrumentation choices that Takahara had for Mega Man 6 were really good. And these 3 really stand out to me. Tomahawk Man is probably the next best one. Again, great theming with the character, even if the character probably shouldn't exist. Let's be real. But I feel like Windman is in the running with Blizzard Man for my least favorite. It's just not as memorable in some ways. in comparison to some others. And Yamato Man's, again, good theming, great instrumentation choice, but just not as good as these three. Alright, I kind of stopped sharing music because I was talking about things too rapid fire, and I felt like it was more appropriate for the top and the bottom tier. But you can listen to these whenever you want because they're just available to listen to on various streaming platforms. I also don't really want this video to get hit too badly with DMCA problems. This is what I think the best, the great, the good, and the of Mega Man NES Robot Master themes are. The thing about Mega Man on the NES is, honestly, all of them are good tracks. I'll be completely honest. The one I like the least is probably Crash Man out of those bottom 6. And that's more of an instrumentation choice. But I can't say I hate any of them. That's the beauty of the strength of the Mega Man compositions. All of them are really good. It's just that 6 don't hit me as hard as the rest do. And there's not really one that I don't like. Or that I hate, even. So, kudos to our composers for really making some of the best music on the NES. Seriously. There's very little wrong with the Mega Man 1 through 6 soundtracks as a whole. Especially when you look at them from when they started in 87 up to 93, 94 when Mega Man 6 came out. Like, just really set a gold standard for music on the platform that the later games never quite got as high, in my opinion. 9 and 10, I think some people would argue, is up there because they're very similar in sound, although with advances in technology. But in a lot of ways, I just feel like these are the ones that I think of when I think of Mega Man, is the NES games. Well, this was fun. This was a nice way to talk about some anniversary stuff without talking about the site history again. Let's jump back to me on camera. Close out today. Thought it would be a good idea to celebrate the other thing that's happening today. It's not just Levels Plus anniversary. It's not just my publishing anniversary. It's this one's birthday. So, happy birthday, Flavia. We'll have some watermelon today to celebrate your birthday. Thank you for joining me on this anniversary episode. As I said at the top, we'll be taking a break for the rest of August, unless there's an announcement for the Egret 2 Mini Arcade Memories Volume 3, or a Nintendo Direct happens, or something of that sort that would warrant me doing a reaction. But I really want to try to get this book out in September, so I'm going to really try to hunker down and get that one done. I'm also working on Isolate Volume 2, and I'm feeling really good about the direction that that's going. I'm probably about a third of the way through that. It's good writing times for me right now. So I appreciate your patience, as the other activities that I do online have kind of sat idle for a little bit. But we'll be gearing things up here in a little bit. So thank you for tuning in. I will see you in a few weeks, more than likely. So take care.